Hi, and welcome back to the Three Questions podcast with me, Leanne Johnston from Affiliate Insider. And today I'm really excited to be talking to Nikola Teofilovic, the General Manager from Catena Media. Hi, Nikola, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to participate.
Thank you very much for joining us today. So we've got three quick fire questions for you, which I'm really excited to ask you about because I've seen quite a lot of news updates on your LinkedIn profile recently about the fact that you've been involved in the startup space, which is quite exciting and obviously dealing with a lot of entrepreneurs there. So can you talk to us a little bit about why you're supporting initiatives like this and what have you learned from the entrepreneurs that you've been working with in this space?
I started my first own company actually in 2001, and it was here in Serbia. It was an outsourcing business, labor arbitrage, and I'm very proud that it's still active today. It's owned by a company called Mogul, which is owned by a listed company in Sweden called Adnode. So I've been an entrepreneur myself, and now I've also taken a very active part in building the first professional business angel network here in Serbia through our organization, dsi.com or .rs. It's Digitalna Serbia, Digital Serbia, and we're trying to drive the tech industry forward in all important aspects. The site is available in English as well, but one of them is building this and nurturing the startup ecosystem where I'm very active, and also in the educational part. So I think that, entrepreneurship is super important when it comes to both innovation, but that usually takes much more resources, but also in reverse engineering, where you can find something where there's already a big demand, improve it or do it better, and then there's an opportunity. So I have a couple of investments. I've been investing since a very early age. So I started to invest in stocks when I was 15, 16, and I got a huge interest from the financial markets, and that developed into investing in entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial projects as well.
Awesome. And that's a really interesting space because I think, when you're working with entrepreneurs, you're involved in such a lot of innovation because really that's what drives an entrepreneur forward is, finding an opportunity or an idea or a piece of tech or creating a piece of tech. I'm sure that you get a lot of personal, pleasure out of dealing with those businesses and learning about new things because it really does keep you current. And I know I feel that way when I deal with affiliates in the space. They're always more agile than what an operator is. And so you end up learning a lot more just by being with them. So let's talk a little bit more about affiliate marketing and how you see 2020 and beyond rolling forward. Obviously, you're working for one of the biggest iGaming affiliate companies, Catena Media, as well, alongside this. What do you think big affiliate businesses like yours are looking to kind of move forward with in the years to come?
Let me just also give you some more info on that. In Serbia, we have 70 people now, and we're mainly doing asgamblers.com, which is the largest affiliate in the industry, standalone. So that's what we mainly do from here. There's a lot of interesting things going on, and I mean, a couple of years ago, there was a multiple arbitrage opportunity, which the founders of Catena Media, especially Optimizer, were the ones that could actually make that happen. But back then it was mostly a garage business, and we were the first one to aggressively started to buy companies, and there was some kind of multiple arbitrage. We made over 40 acquisitions, and then a lot of competitors popped up, like RateTech, Better Collective. I mean, they were there, but they were also starting to compete in these M&A activity. Net Gaming, RateTech, smaller ones, Excel was always there as well. While now we're going into a completely different, this is my subjective opinion, of course, but we're going into a different phase where professional excellence has been added in several affiliate companies in our industry, in iGaming, and where organic growth is getting more and more important. And this is where also the entrepreneurial spirit and the having intrapreneurs that have entrepreneurial experience come into place, because
Yeah.
it's really important to be innovative. It's really important to create new amazing products and not just buying them, because they are more expensive today, and entrepreneurs aren't willing to sell their 70-80% margin business for maybe 2 to 4 times the EBITDA or whatever. So I think this is even getting more and more important. But also, if you are a great entrepreneur, the opportunity is bigger, because it's a more mature industry where the valuations are higher, where there are companies that are listed, that have deep pockets or can potentially have. It's quite different from 5 years ago.
Yeah, and I mean, I think 5 years ago, people were looking at sort of global expansion. They weren't really looking at innovation. And I think that's sort of where you spoke and touched on the fact that the market's maturing, because it's not just about globally, making the business bigger, but it's also about expanding the breadth of the business and looking at other technologies and other ways to engage. So I'm quite excited because, Ask Gamblers has always been at the forefront of innovation. You were one of the first affiliate companies to ever exhibit at an event. I'll never forget that. And last year you launched something called the Ask Gamblers Awards, which I was very lucky to attend. Now, what struck me about that awards is that it was the first time that an affiliate had pulled together players and operators, where the players actually had the choice in terms of determining who they felt was the best operator versus the industry voting, as in terms of some of the other awards that are available. So can you talk us through a little bit about what's happening in this next year's edition, which has just recently kicked off, and why this initiative is so important for you and the Ask Gamblers team?
I can't tell you that much, because we want to make a big impact, and I can't out any maybe new things. I want them to be delivered live, and we're privileged to have you once again as our media partner, exclusive media partner, which will be amazing. So in order to create the biggest impact, we would like to everyone to experience that on the show.
Sure.
But when it comes to innovation, I would like to say that, for us, innovation is super important, and AG, as you mentioned, the AG Awards is a part of being innovative. We wanted to, move things around and change things, and really we wanted to be the first affiliate that actually created a conference which is not sponsored by anyone, which is as unbiased as it can be. And it was actually quite interesting, because a lot of operators were asking me during the event, like, why don't you, take any sponsorship? This is an amazing event, so great, blah, blah, blah. And I said, it's because we don't want that, because if we get some kind of sponsors for this event, it will never be perceived, and it will not be unbiased. And that's why we wanted to be, really. And that's a part of us trying to be innovative when it comes to the industry, and change something towards something that we think is both better and new. But I would also like to emphasize that we're continuously trying to do innovations, such as the AG coin. We launched our video reviews now. BitStars was the first casino to have their video review, and it's live now. And you mentioned AG Awards, and we're always trying to do, even though we are the number one and are perceived as the number one, there's no time to rest. You always have to push forward. And as you said, it has been a lot about global growth, and this is also something we're working with. And soon enough, you will see AG in more languages, fully localized, which is amazing.
Quite exciting.
So we want to bring AG to the whole world. That's the plan. And then, of course, one thing that is interesting to discuss is the compliance thing, because a lot of things are changing, and in our industry, the legal side is very important for your business decisions, because it can be a game-changing thing if a political party wins and wants to, as we had in Italy. But and what we're seeing in the UK with the KYC and other stuff. So you have to follow everything and to be quick and fast. And Yeah, that's also where the entrepreneurial, if you have an entrepreneurial background, it's easier for you because entrepreneurs are more used to fast changing
Yes.
environment where you have to be super flexible and super agile. And this is also growing big is a challenge, because as you grow big, you become a system, you set structures, and structures, if not done correctly, can can limit you as well. So,
And that's, I think, one of the key things for me that makes me, disagree with anybody that ever says that affiliate marketing is going to die. I think the operators that are really clever, they will work more closely with affiliates because they are agile and because they're in the front lines, looking at technology, looking at innovation, looking at growth. And because they're agile enough to do those things, they're not bound by some of the rules and regulations that operators are, but they are kind of looking to align with those rules and regulations to ensure that everything's compliant, but they still have that agility to move and change. Just on a last note from me, I mean, the biggest thing that I have really loved about...
Can I just make a comment on
Of
that,
course.
what you said, because I think it's great that you actually brought it up. I think there's one thing, and it's a core thing which people usually maybe forget when it comes to affiliate marketing. It comes from a very, very strong core, where the core is, however you've done it, to be straight into the target group.
Yes.
Even if you're very SEO focused and you have a domain or whatever, you have the traffic, you get the traffic. If you do, you can do it in a different way. There are different strategies, but it's straight into the target group. So what I see affiliation becoming, and it's more and more becoming that, it's the most important publisher for the operator.
Yes.
So, and this is where we have developed, this is why we're looking at new digital formats, podcasts, video reviews, maybe more video content when it comes to branding and other stuff, because I see the future of Catena Media is becoming more and more, taking more and more money for established, because nobody wants to pay high CPMs that don't deliver any results.
Yeah.
Those times are over. So I think that actually the lead generation business or the affiliate business has the brightest future.
Yeah, totally agree with that. The other thing that's really great is that affiliates are authentic to their brand. So, and that's one thing that I have enjoyed seeing Ask Gamblers over time. You have always been the voice of the players. And even with the stuff that you're doing now with the awards, with how you're moving your content forward and your innovation strategies, you're always doing all of these things and matching it back to how can we service the players. And the players are really what make this industry. And often that's sometimes forgotten, they're just a byproduct, and that shouldn't be the case. So I think that's also one of the reasons why you guys are so successful, in the fact that you kind of live the brand, you really get under the skin of understanding your end user and your audience, and really that's what makes for successful marketing. I just want to thank you so much for spending your time with us today and sharing some of the innovations and ideas and concepts that you guys are working on, because I do believe that, we need to educate and share our knowledge and grow the industry together. So thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. It was really great to chat to you and to hear what's happening.
Thank you very, 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 very much. And I also just, in order to finish, I want to make a comment on just what you said. And it's for entrepreneurs or people that want to innovate. Focus on the user. You mentioned it. That's that will be a core of for your success. We have almost reached $28 million now through our complaint system, which we have helped players to retrieve. It's a great example of a user-centric service that we were the first ones to launch. And casino is harder to innovate because it's not skill-based, as you can argue that sports betting and also finance and other verticals may be.
Yes.
But focus on the user and focus on what the user wants. And I think it will be harder and harder to create a product that will only be focused on various SEO strategies that, to rank top 3 with whatever means there are.
Yeah.
You need to, by the end of the day, Google will update, and they need to do this. And we're seeing that they're doing it. And the algorithm is going more and more on trying to figure out those who are trying to manipulate with the organic search. So I think if you are in for the long term, focus on exactly what you said, and you want to innovate. Focus on the user.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate your time, and we look forward to seeing what happens in the future.
Thank you very much, and thank you for giving me this opportunity.